Hello and welcome to Back to the Feature, the show where we talk about movies past, present, and future. Today, we're going to take a look into the near future at this year's Oscar season. Hello and welcome to Back to the Feature. I'm your host, Giovanni Carlo, joined with my partner in time, John Vandaloo. Today, we're giving you a preview of this Oscar season. John and I, earlier in the week, set up a list of our top 4 most anticipated movies of the Oscar season. Oscar time is one of my favorite times of the year. This is when we're getting some of the best movies. So, John, what's your first movie on your list?
My first pick on this list is the movie Silence. And I think a lot of people actually haven't heard this film because we still don't have a trailer, but it's going to be directed by Martin Scorsese. And that's, one reason you have to put it on the list. It's Martin Scorsese, people. The film stars Liam Neeson, Adam Driver, Andrew Garfield, and Ciarán Hinds.
Now, I heard that this was a movie that Martin Scorsese's been trying to get done for like 20 years.
Yes,
and
he's
finally gotten the opportunity to make this movie. I think that in and of itself is extremely exciting. This is a passion project, and any kind of passion project for Martin Scorsese is probably something to behold.
Yeah, and the story is 17th century, 2 Jesuit priests face violence and persecution as they travel to Japan to locate their mentor and propagate Christianity. This was actually a remake of a 1971 film with the same title. So yeah, this Martin Scorsese, he loves to remake movies and make them his own, and I'm really excited for this. I can't wait for the trailer to come out. The reason why we haven't got a trailer yet is because they're still in editing. Mm-hmm. And actually on IMDb, I checked like last week, it was over 3 hours, and now it's down to 240, so they're definitely working on it.
I think that's definitely interesting that it is a remake, especially because the last time Martin Scorsese did a remake, it was The Departed. And that's an excellent movie, and is one of those ones where it's arguably just as good, if not better, than Infernal Affairs, the movie that it was based off of.
I'm really excited for this film. I can't wait for the first trailer to drop. It's set for limited release December 23rd, so I'm really hoping that it makes that release and that we can get it in this Oscar season yet, which I'm sure they're aiming for. It's got a great team, and it looks like it's going to be good.
The first movie that I've picked is Elle, directed by Paul Verhoeven. Paul Verhoeven is one of my favorite directors. I think that he has some of the best satire movies that exist. I love Total Recall, Starship Troopers, RoboCop, and he's also very well known for Basic Instinct, which I think this movie looks like it's a little bit more of a parallel of. Elle is the story of this businesswoman who is sexually assaulted in her home, and which then turns into this cat and mouse game as she kind of starts this one-woman war against this person, trying to find who did this and get them herself. This movie stars Isabelle Huppert, and her role in this movie has been talked about now because this movie's already made it through Cannes and the rest of the festival circuit, and it's been buzzing really big, and that's what got me really interested. Hearing all this positive buzz about this movie coming out of Cannes and the Toronto International Film Festival and many others. So I was like, well, Paul Verhoeven's doing another movie. I need to see this. Like I said, I love this guy's work, and we don't quite get a lot from him, and a lot lately anyway, in kind of the later 2000s here. So I was really excited to hear about that. And then seeing this trailer, this looks like a really interesting, tightly wound thriller, and I love thriller movies. So I'm very interested to see where this goes.
It looks like it's going to be entering into the foreign language category at the Oscars too.
Yeah, it's actually all in French. So you're going to have to do a little bit of reading, but I never mind that. I really do enjoy foreign films. And I don't find it to be too tough to watch a movie and read a movie at the same time. So I'm really excited to see that. And hopefully then it has a chance at the Oscars in that foreign language category, even though I have heard, though, there's 85 films have been submitted for the category. So it's going to be some intense competition. But if the buzz is to be believed on this movie, I think that it's going to be something really special and really good. So, John, what's the next movie that you're anticipating for this Oscar season?
It's a film I've been anticipating since when the first trailer dropped, and that's Arrival. Arrival is directed by Denis Villeneuve, and he has become one of my favorite directors. He has such amazing style. He directed Enemy, Prisoners, foreign language film Incendies, which was actually Oscar nominated for foreign language film. That's an excellent movie as well. and last year's Sicario. So I'm really excited. This has got an all-star cast with Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker. Now, I love science fiction films, and I love movies that make you think. This is both of these things. I think it's obvious, and something that definitely caught the attention of everyone that saw that first trailer drop, and that is the cinematography in this film. Bradford Young, he's this young, up-and-coming cinematographer who was a part of Selma and A Most Violent Year. I haven't seen Selma, but A Most Violent Year is a beautifully looking film. I cannot wait for November 11th to come.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, just the team that you've listed that's part of this movie. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors, especially, I mean, how early we are into, like, seeing his movies. I love Prisoners. It's an excellent crime film. If you guys haven't seen it, check that one out for sure. And then just the visuals in Sicario, you know, like being from Phoenix and being from Arizona, the fact that he just transported me back to a place that I know is kind of being a home. So to see it just so clearly, this guy just knows how to bring you and transport you to a place. And then really with the A Most Violent Year, I absolutely love that movie too, if you guys haven't seen that. A great slow burn thriller starring Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac, who are just two of the best actors in the business right now. So, I mean, this movie has got quite a pedigree, and I think that's very exciting. The next movie on my list is Live by Night. It's coming out this Christmas, and it's written and directed by Ben Affleck, the Batman himself. Now, I think that Ben Affleck is an extremely intriguing writer and director. He has given us some great movies so far, and also, you know, has won an Oscar for Argo. Even though it's not my favorite of his movies, it's still a well-crafted film, and I think that he's definitely someone you can trust, like, heading a project like this, and anything that he's doing, it just immediately intrigues me. It is a Prohibition-era gangster movie, which, for me, is, like, I don't think we have enough of these movies. Like, I love that era. I love the style, the suits, the Tommy guns. I mean, I'm so excited for something like this.
I'm right there with you, man.
This movie is going to star Ben Affleck, Zoe Saldana, Elle Fanning, Sienna Miller. Looks like Brendan Gleeson's going to show up. Anthony Michael Hall. It's a great cast, and it looks like a bunch of people having fun, chewing the scenery, which, if I was an actor, that's definitely scenery that I would want to chew. The script is also based off of a novel by Dennis Lehane, who's done, a bunch of huge movies that everybody knows. Gone Baby Gone, Shutter Island, Mystic River, and also The Drop, which is a little bit of a smaller movie with Tom Hardy. If you haven't seen it, really interesting crime/character piece. And actually one of James Gandolfini's last movies. One of the interesting things about Live by Night is it's actually going to be produced by Leonardo DiCaprio as well. He was originally attached to star, but decided to take a step back and just be the producer on this. And the other interesting part is he was meant to be the lead. So Ben Affleck actually stepped in, wanting to play the lead. The other producers actually made Ben Affleck audition for the part. They didn't quite have the confidence that he could pull off this role, so he auditioned to be in his own film. It's not just Ben Affleck saying, well, I'm writing and directing it, so of course I should star. Everyone else saw his performance on the tape, and they thought that he was the best choice. So I think that that's a vote of confidence for this movie that I think is really interesting and gets me even more excited for it. And I think, after seeing The Accountant 2 just now, Ben Affleck, his acting is getting to another level as well, and he's on a roll right now. I want to see what he's got, and I think this is a really intriguing movie.
Yeah, I think he does have a lot of confidence right now. I think he's starting to peak a little bit in the acting world, and he's really bringing it. He's really everything Ben Affleck is putting out. I'm just like, give me more. I want to see more of this.
If I put that many bodies through drywall, I'd probably be pretty confident too.
And I think it's pretty impressive, too, that he beat out Leonardo DiCaprio. He's fresh off his Oscar win in The Revenant, which was, in my opinion, an amazing performance.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why Leo chose to kind of take a little bit of a backseat role. You know, he got his Oscar, and now he just, wants to hang out on yachts and, drink with models.
Well, he was in the mountains freezing to death, starving himself and eating raw meat. And
he's earned it. He's earned it to go a little Nicholson for a while. So we're about halfway through with our movies, and I think already there's a bunch of intriguing movies so far. John, what's the next movie on your list?
The next movie on my list is Nocturnal Animals. This film is written and directed by Tom Ford. If you haven't heard of Tom Ford, it's because he doesn't do anything ever, and that is a sin. Now, this is his sophomore feature after writing and directing A Single Man from 2009. Now this movie is starring, again, Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal, who I think he's doing amazing work lately. Everything Jake Gyllenhaal puts out, I am just enthralled by his work. Michael Shannon is also in this film, and Michael Shannon has become one of my favorite actors, I think, in the past 10 years. Everything Michael Shannon does is amazing.
Yeah, I think he's arguably one of the best actors working right now, as is Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, that's an extremely strong cast, just right there. I think Amy Adams as well is an amazing actress. Everything that she's in, I think that even if the movie's not that great, she is always excellent in whatever it is that she's doing. So that's a really, really strong cast.
Well, I mean, even saying Aaron Taylor Johnson is also in this film, and he actually looks like he's going to be excellent in it. I mean, it's just the trailer so far, but he does look like he's bringing it in this role.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 with him. There's things that he's done that I like, and there's other ones that maybe didn't quite work so well. So I think that if this is something that is in his wheelhouse, I think that he could be very successful. But I definitely see him probably getting outshined by the rest of this cast. But he does look very interesting in the trailer, and I'm interested to see where he goes and how well he does.
And if you go farther down the list, too, Jenna Malone's in this, Michael Sheen is in this. This movie is an all-star cast. And fun fact, this movie was purchased at, I believe, Cannes Film Festival for $20 million, which is the highest price any studio has ever paid for a film out of a festival like that. Now, this film is about an art gallery owner who is haunted by her ex-husband's novel, a violent thriller she interprets as a veiled threat in a symbolic revenge tale. So this movie is going to be, I think, an excellent thriller, especially after viewing A Single Man and the way that Tom Ford sets up his world, sets up the vision he has for his movies. It's a beautifully crafted film, A Single Man is, and I think this one is going to follow suit.
It's interesting that you say suit, because actually Tom Ford is originally a clothing designer. I think that's interesting you talk about his visual acuity, because I think that you have to kind of have that to be a fashion designer, and then now moving into being a director. I think that's one of the most interesting career switches or like side jobs I think that I've ever kind of heard of. But for some strange reason, I think that it makes a lot of mental sense why you'd be good at one thing and then good at this as well. So I think it's really intriguing just because of him being being early on in his directing career and already kind of having such strong movies. This trailer looks really strong. And this story is really intriguing and sounds very original as well. So I think that's also extremely exciting.
Anything starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Shannon, I'm on board for. I cannot wait for December 9th when Nocturnal Animals hits the screens.
The next movie that I've picked is one of our personal favorite writer and directors, and Jeff Nichols' next film. It's called Loving, and it stars Joel Edgerton and Ruth Negga. And it is the story of an interracial couple who get married in 1958 and are arrested for doing so. And I think this movie looks extremely poignant and extremely interesting. I think that we've had a lot of movies about race relations in the past, but I don't think it's ever been quite through this lens. And then looking at Jeff Nichols and the movies that he's done, Take Shelter is an overlooked American classic. And then just this last year, Midnight Special, I had no idea he was doing this because Midnight Special just came out this year. Excellent movie, and now he's hitting us with another one here before the end of the year. This one's set to be November 4th.
Yeah, I am very excited for this film. Jeff Nichols has become one of my favorite directors. Midnight Special is a film that got overlooked by way too many people this year. I think it's in my top 5 films, easy. He also directed Mud. Matthew McConaughey when he started getting his chops. This film is actually based on a true story as well. I'm really excited to see Joel Edgerton in this role. I thought he was fantastic in the movies like The Gift that came out recently that he wrote and directed himself. And also just him in Midnight Special, I think he was very overlooked with how well his performance was in that film. So seeing the way he is in the early trailers for this film, he looks like he's really in character, and it being Jeff Nichols again, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing film.
I'm really interested in seeing Jeff Nichols tackling a true story. We haven't seen that yet from him. The other thing I'm very intrigued about is Ruth Negga as the other lead in this movie. I know her from Misfits and Love Hate, some great British and Irish television shows respectively. And she's someone that I thought has always stood out and has performed really, really well. I think this is an interesting opportunity for an actress that not a lot of people have heard of. Oh, and did I forget to mention, Michael Shannon is also in this movie as well. And I will watch anything with that man in it. Like I said, I think he's one of the best actors working today. So we've gone through our first 3 picks. John, what is the movie that tops your list for your most anticipated movie of this Oscar season?
I think the film that's really going to get the attention of the Academy is Here's to the Fools That Dream, La La Land. So this movie is starring Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and this movie just looks fantastic. This movie looks magical. The cinematography, it being a musical, the fact that Ryan Gosling, you put any woman with him in the frame and he's going to ooze charisma, and it's Emma Stone, and Crazy Stupid Love, they have that chemistry together. I can't wait for this film. It looks amazing. You know, a jazz pianist falls in love with an aspiring actress in LA. And this is written and directed by Damien Chazelle, who is fresh off of Whiplash, which was a fantastic film.
Yeah, and it was more than just J.K. Simmons' performance in that movie. I think that it's a really well-written, just really kinetic movie. He really just brings you into this extremely tangible world of jazz music, and that the performances in it are great. And I think that him leading another project that's involved with music, I think it's a perfect fit for him. I think the big thing that I noticed with this movie is it feels like a throwback. The Academy loves that, but I also think that it looks really interesting because we don't see tons of movies that look like this anymore. And I think it'd be really interesting to see a movie that has that kind of old school style to it.
I love the look of this film. I mean, the cinematography looks brilliant. And the cinematography on board is Linus Sandgren. He was a part of American Hustle, Joy, The Promised Land with Matt Damon. But this, like the shots that are all in Twilight, it looks like the whole movie is going to be shot in Twilight in LA. Now, La La Land releases the same day as Rogue One, and I think I have the solution to be able to see both of these movies in the same weekend. Go see Rogue One on its preview showing, and then go see La La Land on its Friday night opening day.
My final pick for our Oscar preview is a movie that I have been excited for a long time. My last movie that I'm picking is Manchester by the Sea. It is written and directed by Kenneth Lonergan, who's been working as a writer for a while here in Hollywood. He's only directed a couple indies. I think his last one was Margaret with Anna Paquin and Matt Damon. He also wrote Analyze This with Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal, and then he also did Gangs of New York. He actually wrote the screenplay for that as well. So he's a little bit of an unknown quantity. But I really think that this trailer is fantastic. I watched this trailer and was already getting emotional just from watching Casey Affleck's performance. And that's obviously who stars in this movie. And it's about a uncle who his brother unexpectedly passes away, and he has to struggle with the fact that if he wants to become his nephew's guardian or not. And I think that's such an interesting concept. And Casey Affleck, I think, is an actor who's been underrated for a long time. I don't think everybody talks about him when we talk about some of the better actors that are working today. But he really, every role that he's in, he really brings it. And I'm a huge fan of him in Gone Baby Gone, his brother's movie as well. As you can see, there's a lot of Afflecks on my list. But it also stars Michelle Williams and Kyle Chandler as his brother. And a lot of people really love Kyle Chandler now. I know he was just in The Wolf of Wall Street, but everyone's very familiar with him from the Friday Night Lights television show and his performance in that. So I know he's a guy that can bring it, and I think really does fill out this cast very well. It seems like a very small movie, but it just seems like it's packed with a lot of emotions. Like I said, I was getting my heartstrings like tugged at just watching a 2.5 minute trailer. I can't wait to see the full movie.
Yeah, this movie looks very rich. I think you said it's a small film, but it has very grand themes and really important themes. And the movie looks extremely, it looks like all these films, they're photographed brilliantly. The cinematography in this film looks amazing. I can't wait to see this. Casey Affleck, like you said, he is very underrated. Gone Baby Gone is one of my favorite movies of all time. His performance in that is amazing. I can't wait for this film. I can't wait.
Who knew a guy that used to just talk about getting double boigas would become such a great actor that he is? Manchester by the Sea comes out November 18th. I'm going to be in line to see that movie, and I hope you guys check out the trailer and hopefully are there with me when we go see it. So guys, that's been our Oscar season roundup, a little preview for what's coming down for the rest of the year and what we expect to see when we're talking about the Oscar nominations early next year. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel out. Also guys, comment down below on the movies you're interested in from this Oscar season. Maybe it's some of the movies that we've named here. If you want to discuss movies even more, follow us on Twitter at BacktoFeature. We'll talk about movies with you guys all day long. I've been your host, Giovanni Carlo.
And I'm John Vandeloo.
And we'll see you guys very soon.